The fact that there are certain things that are absolutely right and other things that are absolutely wrong. It's not just my opinion that murder's wrong. It's really wrong because there's a standard beyond us. And that standard has created human beings in his image, and there's a purpose to life, and it would be wrong to frustrate that purpose by murdering somebody.
The problem with this line of reasoning is that it already assumes that certain moral truths exist. And the issue with that is that, for example, if I went up to you and I said, murder is not wrong, and you said, no, murder is wrong, how would you show that you're right? Would you appeal to innate human value? Would you appeal to the way that it makes you feel, the way that it makes a person feel? Would you appeal to a purpose in life like he is? Where would you show that that purpose actually exists and that it's not derived within the person, it's not subjective? There's not really a good way for somebody like Frank Turek to show you that the moral law exists except by appealing to things that aren't empirical, that aren't actual evidence for what he's talking about. And there's actually a part two to this where he tries to show that God is actually the reason for why these moral truths exist.
If the moral law exists, then there's got to be a moral lawgiver.
And really, the only issue I have with this last part is just that he assumes implicitly that the only explanation for the moral law could possibly be God, and it has to be his version of God. But besides that, I do agree that if morality is objective, it would need some sort of explanation. But we also need to remember we might not have access to the best explanation, and there could be a multitude of things that could explain it equally well.